Pangkalikasan, Go Malakas!
Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Kamusta na po kayo sa inyong mga tahanan? Kung nandyan po kayo sa mga bahay, sa bahay ninyo, or kung kayo ay nasa trabaho or nasa labas, or kung saan man kayo nakikinig ngayong umaga. Hello and good morning. I hope everybody is doing all right, staying healthy and safe. So ikinagagalak ko na maging host uli for today's show. Isang napakaganda at napakalakas, okay? Pampalakas morning na naman po tayo ngayon dahil ating dadagdagan at palalawakin na naman ang ating mga isipan. Pero before that, I'd like to say hi to, of course, those who are already watching us, okay, this morning. Hi to Rose, who says, Haribol, hello, have a wonderful day to all. Hi to Rina May, saying good day, go Palakas. And good morning from Kalindi Relova. Hello. And says Miguel Vargas, who also says that they planted coconuts in the coastal area of Dalumpinas, La Union today. Wow, what a productive morning for you, Miguel. And we also are being greeted good morning by Milay, by Cynthia, by Angel, by Harry, and by Thomas Trankner Jr. all the way from Angeles, and also from Cebu, Karkar Abode. Ayan. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. And yeah, like I said, it's going to be a great morning once again because we are going to be continuing the discussion, okay, that was started last week. At ito ang usapang tatay. Kung ang nanay ay ang ilaw ng tahanan ng ating mga tatay, okay, ang mga haligi, sila ang responsable for guiding, the direction of our lives, the direction of the family, okay, that he is taking care of or is in charge of. And for providing not just material needs of the family, but also the spiritual needs. So, ipagpatuloy natin ang pag-appreciate sa mga tatay kasama ang ating wise trio na sina Tito Toby, Tita Marisa, at Tito Socorro. Pakinggan natin sila.
Good morning.
Good day to everybody.
Good day to all.
So, while the weather is in transition, diba? Malapit na ang tag-ulan. So definitely whatever you need to prepare yourself for. Alam nyo, dahil sa pandemya, we have to always be thinking and planning more as to what the rainy season is going to come, going to be, alam nyo, sa mga stocks ng pagkain.
Yeah.
And then, if you don't have that capacity and capability, siyempre, tingnan nyo rin kung ano yung kapasidad ng inyong mga liderato sa palibot nyo. Pagdating sa ayuda, pagdating kung may mga emergencies, these are things that we plan for. We have to understand that in the Philippines, ang ating bansa, we have an average of 20 typhoons. And then you have not only the typhoons, but you also have the monsoon.
Oo nga, kabahalang yun eh.
Sa
Oo.
panahon,
Thunderstorm lang, nagbabahan na.
dito sa panahon ngayon, alam nyo, marami mga magsasaka, napakasaya nila ngayon dahil mukhang nakakapagtanim ng tama sa after the last 5 years, hindi kami makatanim sa tamang oras eh. So ngayon, mukhang baka
Mas normal.
pero dahil nga, nagulat ang marami, nabigla. Parang, biglang umulan na malakas.
Naghahabol ngayon sila.
Oo, ang
So,
lakas-lakas ng mga ulan ngayon.
So ito na, these are the signs of times. Has to do with climate change.
Kailangan laging handa eh.
We have to always be prepared and forward-looking pagdating sa ating mga gawain. Lalahanin natin na itong pandemya has given us a measure of what is our preparedness. As a family, as an individual, as a country, as a community, how prepared are we in case of such situation? And when you talk about climate change, which is, kumbaga, recently the world leaders met on this,
Oo. Meron sila.
and they're making their commitments. Kasi the topic is always the biggest, kumbaga, the biggest countries, ang pinakamalalaking bansa na naglalagay ng carbon sa ating atmosphere o sa biosphere.
They are the biggest culprits.
United States and China.
Oh my God.
And they're asking for their commitments.
Oo.
And they're giving their commitments. You know that, because right now in some places the temperatures of the ocean, the main body of water, has already risen by 1.5 degrees.
Talagang umakyat na ang
Umakyat na.
temperature.
Yun yung
Ibig sabihin,
pinakatakutan ng mga
yeah,
scientists,
and
diba?
the scientists wants to make it so that hindi lumampas na doon. Kumbaga na, we should be able to do something. We should do something about it. Kaya nga, ang Amerika, sila mismo, dahil napapansin natin na, alam niyo, itong mga forest fires na nangyayari
Oo.
sa US, sa Australia. Australia ngayon, naghahanda sila.
Meron din tayong fires na, no?
Meron silang mga dry winter. So that means during dry winter, hindi siya masyadong basa. Baka towards the end of winter nila, papasok ang spring and summer, baka magkaroon na naman sila ng mga sunog na malalawak na lugar. Ang hindi lang kanyo 1 hektare, 2 hektare, kundi milyon na hektaryas ang nasusunog.
Oo.
Alam nyo ang outcome niyan. Siyempre, lahat ng pag intindihin nyo, ang puno, siya ang nagsesequester ng carbon.
Yes.
Saan niya nilalagay?
Halaman.
In their body.
Sa katawan niya.
Oo.
Di ba? Ina-absorb niya eh. Pero,
Pag
hindi
nasunog,
hindi basta nawawala yun.
balik na sa
Yun ang,
atmosphere.
kaya nga may mga puno sa mga creation, there's a certain number of areas na forested dapat talaga. And we have to leave it that way. But because of the way of life in the last 100 years, we embrace a way of life that has destroyed most of these filters. Ito yung filtration system ng ating planeta eh. Yung mga puno at saka yung karagatan. At saka pag umulan, siyempre nakita natin, napansin niyo ba? Parang ang linis ng hangin.
Ang sarap ng pakiramdam.
Fresh air.
You know?
So hindi pa yung puno, they only not filter the air, but also the water.
Everything.
Sila rin, no?
Maraming, maraming trabaho. But siyempre, hindi naman yan ang paksa natin ngayon eh. Siyempre, alalahanin lang natin kasi last Wednesday was World Turtle Day.
Sea turtle.
Sea turtle.
Day. Oo.
May 60, June 16 is celebrated
In
as World
Kurma,
Sea Turtle.
this is our sea turtle conservation program. Hindi lang natin
One of our
iniisip,
pet projects.
hindi lang natin iniisip yung mga pawikan, ngunit yung kanyang nesting sites, yung environment niya, kung saan siya nangingitlog.
And the environment of the ocean
And the
also.
emotion.
Yes.
Oo.
Because sea turtles do live in the ocean, but they still need the land. Doon sila nagna-nest, no? Doon sila nagkakaitlog.
So yung birthing site nila, kumbaga may dynamics yun eh, na kailangan natin pangalagaan ng gusto. Kung hindi, 1% of sea turtle born will make it to adult life. And then if they're hindi siya masyadong basa, baka towards the end of winter nila, papasok ang spring and summer, baka magkaroon na naman sila ng mga sunog na malalawak na lugar. Ang hindi lang kanyo 1 hektare, 2 hektare, kundi milyon na hektarya ang nasusunog.
Oo.
Alam niyo ang outcome niyan. Siyempre, lahat ng pag intindihin niyo, no? Ang puno, siya ang nagse-sequester ng carbon.
Yes.
Saan niya nilalagay?
Halaman.
in their body.
Sa katawan niya.
Oo.
Di ba? Ina-absorb niya eh. Pero,
Pag nasunog,
hindi basta nawawala yun.
balik na sa
Yun ang,
atmosphere.
kaya nga may mga puno sa mga creation, there's a certain number of areas na forested dapat talaga. And we have to leave it that way. But because of the way of life in the last 100 years, we embrace a way of life that has destroyed most of these filters. Ito yung filtration system ng ating planeta eh. Yung mga puno at saka yung karagatan. At saka pag umulan, siyempre nakita natin, napansin niyo ba? Parang ang linis ng hangin.
Ang sarap ng pakiramdam.
Fresh air.
You know? So
Hindi pa
anyway,
yung puno, they only not filter the air, but also the water.
everything.
Sila rin, no?
Maraming, maraming trabaho. But siyempre, hindi naman yan ang paksa natin ngayon eh. Siyempre, alalahanin lang natin kasi last Wednesday was World Turtle Day.
Sea turtle.
Sea
Day.
turtle.
Oo.
May 60, June 16 is celebrated
In
as World
Kurma,
Sea Turtle.
this is our sea turtle conservation program. Hindi lang natin
One of our
iniisip,
pet projects.
hindi lang natin iniisip yung mga pawikan, ngunit yung kanyang nesting sites, yung environment niya, kung saan siya nangingitlog.
And the environment of the ocean
And the
also.
emotion.
Yes.
Oo.
Because sea turtles do live in the ocean but they still need the land. Doon sila nagnanest, no? Doon sila nagkakaitlog.
So yung birthing site nila, kumbaga may dynamics yun na kailangan natin pangalagaan ng husto. Kung hindi, only 1% of the sea turtle born will make it to adult life. And then if their habitats or their nesting sites are compromised, are not looked after, then you minimize pa further the 1%. Ilan na lang ang mabubuhay sa kanila. Alalahanin ng ating mga tagapakinig, tandaan nyo, yung kalikasan na to, kung hindi tayo makilahok, each of us has a responsibility. Kasi for example, we're talking about fathers. We talked about, celebrating Father's Day this
Yes.
weekend.
Tomorrow is
Tomorrow.
Father's Day.
So, there are many future-looking wise. The role of every human being is important to the preservation of our environment. We are now in the point where we're using the resources of the future generation. And we are causing a lot of pollution, a lot of waste, and the destruction of our environment. So if we only look at it in such a way as somebody else is at fault, or it's the government who should be responsible for this. I mean, non-government naman eh. So that means us too, the civil government, or the civil society itself.
Or
See,
each individual
Yeah,
talaga,
each
on a
person, kasi
personal
what the
basis.
government is responding to normally is sila nagsiset ng laws, ng whatever is best, di ba? But at the same time, civil society should respond.
We should cooperate.
Cooperate.
And follow the rules.
In fact, meron din suggestion that as far as businesses are concerned, do not invest in industries that are actually doing bad to the environment.
Yes.
No?
Yeah, ganyan na yung trend
Right-
ng mga
right now,
big
Pumili na ng
companies,
very
oo.
friendly sa environment ang mga companies. Yun lang kayo magsusupport, hindi ba? Pati products nila.
And the banks are no longer wanting to invest also or to lend money to those who will destroy the environment.
Yes. So you have to understand that there's so many factors involved here. So let us again not be looking at somebody else as held responsible. We all are responsible. We all are responsible for our actions, right? Just as in a family, the father is the head of the family, right? He sees to it that the protection, the security, the well-being, the health and nutrition of his family members, right? Their safety, then the environment that they live in.
Yeah.
Then the education,
Yes.
For so there's so many responsibilities that a father would have to take upon himself.
Yes, oo.
Malawak.
There's a nice analogy na kasi we were talking about the ocean kanina, So meron nagsabi na, the father, he's not the anchor that keeps us from drifting. He's also not the sail that brings us to other places. What he really is the guiding light that helps us reach where we want to go. So para siya yung lighthouse rin na he guides us in the worst of times and even in the best of times. So it's very important, and we thank our fathers, all the fathers out there who are taking on this role, which is not easy, no? Kasi like mothers, we usually tend to hold back our kids. No, don't go. But the fathers, he lets them, but he guides them all the way.
Yeah, it teaches
Kumbaga,
them.
in modern days, ang comparison siguro natin ay the fathers are like the GPS.
Oh, yeah.
Kasi
Meron kang guiding
meron
light,
kang guiding,
kang-
dyan,
A
mechanism.
way to know where you're going. Am I lost? Asan na ba ako?
Parang ways, no? Di ba?
Ama, ganyan siya. Ang tunay na ama, siyempre, yung concern niya, mas broad ang perspective. Kasi inaalaman niya na, okay, it is the foundation that I give my children. Ano yung tutungtungan na yan?
Yeah. I have a quote from Chanakya Pandit on this, and
Who is Chanakya
Chanakya
Pandit?
Pandit is actually a saintly philosopher, years ago, hundreds of years ago, and he wrote several sayings. Very simple lang yung mga sayings na inipon niya, no? And they are very relevant, especially today, no? Sabi niya, wise fathers should always bring up their sons in various moral ways. For children who have knowledge of scriptures and are well behaved become a glory to their family. So, talagang importante yung role ng father to give knowledge, as you were talking about, and to teach them values, values and wisdom. And sa through time, this will prove, their sons will prove to be, or daughters will prove to be the glory for their family. Kasi minsan ngayon, ang glory ng family, iniisip nila yung nakapagtapos ng ganito sa Amerika, merong ganitong position. Pero sa mga wise men, ang talagang glory na nakikita nila is kung ang mga anak at mga estudyante ay actually brought up with values and wisdom. Yan ang talagang pinanghahawakan nilang tunay na kayamanan para sa pamilya. No?
Actually, he builds their character, and it's these values that build their character that help us know how to go forward in the best way.
Kaya nga yung ama ang di ba sa bahay, maraming beses, siya yung nagdidisiplina.
Oo nga.
Yung mga ayaw makinig,
I'll tell you to Papa.
di
Wait
ba?
till Papa gets home.
Kahit na may edad na di ba? Kahit na matanda na pag nakita mo yung ama siya yung nagsasabi sa mga asawa, sa mga ina. Teka. Kasi yung emotions nyo, hindi naman magbabago basta yan You still have the type of, kumbaga yung form mo. No matter how hard everybody is saying that women are given all these different tasks, on the end of the day, meron nga dyan, gusto niya siya yung, nanay siya, pero gusto niya siya yung tatay, But
Well,
yet,
some of them are forced into the situation.
but
Kung wala yung
there are
tatay.
given, but we also have our own limitations,
Yes.
May limitations lahat yan Like now, in some countries, they openly allow women to fight in a battle,
Yes.
Yes.
to put their lives at risk. But, this is not something that is encouraged in ancient texts. Kasi you leave that person exposed to many hazards that is not required of them. Dito nga sa Philippine Military Academy, yung nandun pa ako nung panahon na yon, nung nalaman ko na magtatanggap na sila ng women, siguro maraming magagalit sa akin dito. Pero yung kumbaga we have to protect them Don't put them in harm's way. But if they want to act this way, you have to make sure don't put them in the front line. Di ba?
Kasi yung iba naman, they want to do it talaga.
And
Parang
because-
anything you can do, I can do
Kasi
better. May mga ganun lang
it's
isip.
based on morality pa rin It's based on values Di ba? We all
Because
have a
we need our
role.
women at home also helping
Yes.
with the children.
And they should not be exposed to... Kasi you have to raise your child The role of the woman is so important. The mother Di ba? Just as the role of the father is so vital too. Hindi siya pwedeng maging absent. Let the mother do the tatay.
The fatherly role.
Oh, no. He has to be there. He has to give support. And the child will be raised. Oh, wow. My dad Kasi that's an assurance of the family that's together.
That
That
helps
works as a
build
team.
the self-confidence.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why this is so important to know. So fathers have a major role na gagawin and not expect their better half to be, okay, you gotta work na rin, ganun ang demand eh.
O ikaw na lang ang magtrabaho na lang dito sa bahay.
Nako, ngayon, yung women yung nagtatrabaho, yung tatay, naging natay, yung ganun baga. May mga ganun na situation eh.
Ibang situation na kasi ngayon.
But this is where we have to learn to be steadfast as a society. I'm not being old-fashioned because there's no such thing eh. Values don't change in time eh. Kahit sa panahon, values are values. Wisdom is wisdom. Hindi pwedeng, oh yeah, we have to be a little bit more like this, a little bit more like that. Oh, what happens to our society? What's going to be the future like? So that's why in a family, the very foundation, guiding light nga sinasabi. Kasi for a father to be the guiding light, he has to be the example and the model for their children and the community.
Steady all the
Kasi
way.
ang ano naman talaga, ang values naman talaga, that the men should be chivalrous and should be willing to be brave and courageous to help protect others.
Yeah,
no?
they take on that
Oo.
stand and that task.
Sila yung nabibigyan ng ganong
Protection,
responsibility to
And
protect.
you know what? The real role of a father, most of the time, a fatherly role is always that person who is not thinking of himself most of the
Yes.
time.
Yeah,
Yes.
very selfless actually.
Selfless
role.
na trabaho yan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kaya nga even, di ba meron tayong terms, biological father, foster father, whatever we say,
Stepfather.
stepfather.
When the
Actually,
father role is there.
It's not that the bio, the step, the foster. It's the father, it's the parent, yeah. The love of a parent that will overcome anything just to make sure that their children and his whole family,
Yes.
that they're all okay.
Kasi when a father steps up on his responsibility to his family, he also has to look at his environment, his community, his neighbors. Siya yan eh. Siya yung tumatanaw dyan eh.
He knows how to deal with all of
Okay.
them.
Kasi that's all part of the responsibility. Let's say your child, like now in the news last night, they want to open up the schools. They want to do trials, di ba?
Yeah.
So by September, I believe, or July. But the first thing that comes to mind is, is it safe? Are you going to put your child in the bus?
Yeah.
Yes.
How will they go to school?
Oo.
Kasi may ganun na problema ngayon eh, yung transport. Kasi nagkakaroon tayo ng problema sa
Wala pang
movement
bata, traffic
ng
na,
tao.
hirap
Kasi
na.
ngayon nagta-traffic ulit dahil nga kakaunti yung mga bus doon sa volume ng tao na gusto na magtrabaho. Kasi lahat gusto na magtrabaho eh.
Siyempre naman.
Diba?
Oo.
Matagal na tayo nakupkup eh. So you cannot stop people from working. They have to work, but yet at the same time, you begin to,
Can we add the children into that?
yes.
At saka
That's
sa
why here,
eskwelahan, wala rin social distancing yung mga bata. They're not
Exactly.
gonna stay away from each other.
Well,
Na
syempre,
siyempre.
the schools have to put in the protocols to make it safe.
Or how
Siguro
often...
naman, they'll do it little by little.
See,
diba?
pwede naman paraan, gawa na ng paraan yan eh. Pwedeng they don't have to go to school every day. They can go to school para lang may interaction sa kanilang teacher.
I heard there are some schools that are giving their students the choice whether they'll still study from home or they will go to school.
But
And more
anyway,
are opting to stay home daw.
see, the point here is, again, it's not about this education. It's about, what decisions are we going to make?
Yeah.
Siyempre,
The father will
the father of
decide.
our nation is there too eh. Tapos may advisor siya na gano'n eh. Kinukuha niya yung mga inputs. But as a magulang, as a father, I have to also make my decision for the
Yeah.
safety of
May
my
choice
child.
pa rin tayo.
Kasi, or the family. Kasi, okay, papuntahin mo nga yung anak mo ron. Nakaaral nga. Pag uwi niya, meron siyang dala, asymptomatic. Ikaw naman yung magulang.
Oo.
May ganun eh.
Okay, yung grandmother, grandfather.
May ganun
Oh,
eh.
yung bata mismo. Ang daming grabe na sakit, no?
O sa mga kapatid.
Oo.
So, there's so many dynamics involved here. That's why sometimes, or many times, we have to start to weigh things. And the father is always there to weigh things down for everybody. Giving a
Reasonably.
sound decision.
Decision maker.
Not based on
Yes.
Emotion.
emotions. Kasi minsan baka iyakan ka ng misis mo or ng nanay ng anak, ay, that's it. You know, yung, oops.
He makes the
Biglang
rational
bumaliktad.
decision.
Yes.
Bumaliktad ang desisyon. Okay? Meron ngang dito, merong verse uli si Chanakya Pandit. In this connection also, a father should save his money against hard times. Save his wife at the sacrifice of his riches. But ultimately, one should save his soul even at the sacrifice of his wife and riches. It's about prioritization, you know. What you really have to sacrifice at a particular time, you know, so that you make a good decision for your own good and the good of your family.
Yeah, in a
And
family
it's not always
also,
easy, no? To make
you
the
have
right
to make sure
decision.
you provide that guiding, kumbaga, the principle na, kasi you know how, like, today, in one of may klase ako kanina umaga sa mga youth. So, tinanong ko sa kanila, oh, how else? These are not, they're youth na. Kumbaga, they're 14, teens na sila. Assignment ko sa kanila kasi responsibility, reliability, trustworthiness. Yung
They give certain anecdotes
Yeah.
or experiences
experiences
how to show
nila,
responsibility.
how to show. So, yung iba, siyempre, hindi sila sigurado kasi ngayon lang sila na-put sa spot. Sabi ko, okay, may isa nagsabi, financial. I try to help sa Kasi minsan, financial issues yung nadadama ng maraming bahay
Diba,
ngayon.
ngayon lalo,
Dami.
diba? Maraming may
So,
problem that way na.
Hindi ka pwedeng you cannot be thinking, I can help in the business. Wala nga business eh. So how else can you be of help? Tinanong ko sa kanila. Then the question I asked them, have you ever taken stock of what is the cost of supporting you? What is the expense that comes out? Then tinanong ko na, nagpapalit ba kayo ng damit nyo every month? Gusto nyo bumili ng bagong sapatos? Yung mga ganon, yung parang hindi namin naiisip yan kasi inaisip nila pag financial, negosyo. But in a home, what can you do so that you minimize expenses?
You ease the burden.
You ease
on
the
your
burden.
parents. So,
Diba? Kunyari, meron kang gamit na binigay sa iyo ng magulang mo dahil gusto niyang, matuto ka ng ganito, matuto ka mag-gitara, whatever, namumuhunan sila sa iyo. Gusto mo, after 6 months, gusto mo ng bagong gitara. Kasi akala mo, sa gitara lang ikaw gagaling. Kung ano yung ganda ng gitara mo, ayun na yung galing mo. Di ba? May gano'n eh. So, lahat sila ngayon, parang yakakata kami gano'n. Akala nila yung, it's the guitar.
That makes you good.
It's the facility. So ngayon, ang puntos dyan, dumating kami sa punto na lahat tayo nagsisilbi. Analyze nyo. Lahat tayo nagsisilbi. Tingnan niyo yung magulang nyo. Pinagsisilbihan ba kayo ng magulang nyo? Sila rin napaisip eh.
Hindi na naiisip.
Hindi na naisip na, lahat pala ng bagay na yan may silbi. Nagsisilbi ang isang tao.
So did they now appreciate their parents more?
Kasi
Father's Day na kasi dapat mapakita nila yung
sabi ko
kanilang
alam nyo,
appreciation.
kailangan ipakita nyo, huwag kayong maging parang lahat na lang gusto nyo sa
Puro
sarili nyo.
gimme. Buy me. Bill
Diba?
mo ko.
Marunong kayo mag-share.
Oo.
Marunong kayo na, ayoko na i-burden yung aking ama at ina sa mga bagay na ganito. Siguro, kasi may nagtanong paano naman yung computer game? Tinanong ko sa klase ko kung ilang kayo nagko-computer games.
100% ba?
Hindi. Ito maganda yung klase na to. Iisa lang yung nagko-computer game.
Very good.
Sabi ko,
Minority.
bakit hindi kayo gusto sa inyo yan Lahat na lang nagko-computer game. Sabi nila, minsan parang nadama ko na naaksaya yung panahon ko.
Sabi intelligent boys.
Talino ka. Sabi ko, gamitin mo ang talino mo. May mga bagay na, time and tide doesn't wait for no one. Hindi ka hintayin yan. Yung oras na inaksaya mo, hindi mo na maibabalik yan. So lahat ng oras dapat i-value natin.
They must have very good parents.
Oo nga. Kaya sabi ko,
educated with values.
So anyway, kaya naibabanggit natin ito kasi sa magulang, the responsibility is so much. Pagdating sa edukasyon ng anak, huwag niyong ibibilin yan kahit kanino.
Yes.
Iba syempre ang ano,
Iba pa rin ang
tingin
magulang
ng
ang
magulang.
nagdidesisyon. Ang ama mas lalo, kasi siya nga ang guiding light eh. Tapos ang ina, ganun din, kasi sa modern life ngayon, everybody has the responsibility, even because sometimes the dad has to work for a long time, or both parents, nga ako, ang habulan ngayon niya pagdating sa bahay. You know, and then we cannot leave the responsibility of educating our children.
Or let
To
things
else.
pass, the opportunities na pwedeng turuan sila ng lessons. Kasi sometimes,
Yeah, it
sabihin,
has to be more
I'm so
immediate.
tired na. Ayoko
Oo.
na to deal with that. You know, some people think that, just let it, you know.
Alam niyo, naibanggit ko yung serbisyo
Oo.
na yung magulang mo nagsiserve sa inyo,
Sa anak.
sa anak. Yung mga may serbisyo na, kita nyo. Lahat tayo nagre-render service.
Yes.
Hindi tayo excuse dito. Kahit na yung pinaka-pinuno o yung hari o yung queen, lahat yan kailangan mag-serve yan. Yan ang function ng human being eh.
It's
We are to render service.
part of our identity.
Identity yan eh. We have to
Oo.
render service.
Yes.
We have to be serving.
Alaga natin anak natin, alaga natin, magulang
Yung kapakanan,
natin.
lahat. Oh,
Oo. Nawala.
okay, so anyway,
Okay.
Maybe it's a sign that dapat mag-break muna
oo
tayo.
nga, mag-break na tayo muna.
Oo,
Okay, so
we'll be,
we'll take a break. Batiin natin muna lahat ng mga tao rin.
Oo,
Okay, good morning
okay.
sa inyo.
Sige.
Okay, ayun, yung napakagandang discussion because the Wise Trio is talking about the very important and big or heavy responsibility that fathers carry, the burden that they carry, and they have to be selfless really to be able to serve their family. At kaya naman napakalaki ang ating pasasalamat sa kanilang lahat na isa-celebrate natin sila tomorrow, okay, for Father's Day. So from that, I'd like to go to the comments because there are a lot of Father's Day greetings already in our comments, starting with Jerochi Sanchez, who says Happy Father's Day to Tito Toby and good morning to Ati Soki and Tita Marisa. And then we have a good morning from Rosalinda Lascano, all the way from Okinawa, Japan, and from Keish, Tara, Ananda, Teves Ngo, also all saying good morning. Watching from Zambales is Ver Enriquez saying more power and happy Father's Day then. And marami ring greetings of good morning from Vina Pasqua, from Matt Resurrection, all the way from Silang Cavite, and from Jiva Jimenez, who is watching from Texas, USA, and the Mainigo tribe, watching also from La Union, and who also greet all fathers, happy Father's Day. So we'll continue greeting everybody at the end. We'll now go to the next part of our show. Let's continue at balikan natin sila Tito Toby, Tita Marisa, at Tita Socorro.
Meron ako na naman ditong gems of wisdom dito. A father whose son is obedient to him, whose wife's conduct is in accordance with his wishes, and who is content with his wishes, has his heaven here on earth.
Napakaswerte naman niya. Wala
Oo.
naman masyadong ganyan ngayon.
Maganda ang kanyang
Maganda
Ano
buhay.
ang
nangyari?
sarap. Buhay
Peaceful.
Peaceful talaga.
Kasi hindi siya inaaway ng anak at saka ng asawa.
Pagtutulungan
So, kaya
ko.
yan nakatira. We have to learn from him.
Naka.
Sana bawat bahay ganon, hindi ba?
Of
Ano
course,
take niya,
it's
ma'am? Hindi niyo ba
possible.
inaaway yung mga ano
Siyempre,
niya?
it's possible. That would be great if all of us could have this
Oo. But then,
situation.
ganun din yung nagkakaroon ng unity and harmony in the family if they all have the same values. No?
Siyempre, one has to
Nakinig
understand
eh.
the,
Basta
found-
nakinig sa
the
head.
very foundation of that is
The father pa rin.
purposeful.
Yes.
May purpose yung direksyon ng pamilya. Siyempre,
Sa tingin ko, kung nakinig sila kay Our Father in Heaven, yun ang ano no?
ayan nga,
Yun
kaya
ang
nga yung
pinaka-
guiding light nandyan palagi.
Oo.
Yun, yung Our Father, Our Supreme Father, nandyan palagi. Hindi naman missing eh.
Yes.
It's always there. Kasama pa natin sa puso natin kahit saan tayo pumunta.
Yeah. It
Alam
is
niya
an
minsan,
integral part of the
Yes.
family.
na hindi
it's
tayo
God-centered
pwedeng,
family.
hindi
Pwede
tayo
yan.
mawalan ng,
Nangyari talaga.
mawalan
Oo.
ng pag-asa minsan dahil parang naghihirap na tayo masyado. Akala natin na hindi naririnig o hindi nadadama yung ating mga pagdasal at paghihirap. Hindi.
Yes, oo.
Choices kasi natin yun eh. If you are towards the direction of a choice that is right, is righteous, katulad ng sinasabi mo sa mga quotes, kung righteous ang buhay ng isang tao, siyempre, ang resulta niya, peace.
Ayan.
Kaya magaang ang loob.
Satisfaction.
May satisfaction. Yun yung mga values. Tapos, alam nyo, ang ama, siya yung nagbibigay ng, ano yan eh, sa mga anak, okay, ganito eh. Pag ganito ang hinarap mo, siyempre, ako as ama, i-capacitate ko yung aking anak na para pag humarap siya rin ng suliranin, meron siyang kapasidad na harapin at naintindihan niya. May reason siya. Naintindihan niya, uy, ganun pala yun. So, ano ang magiging reaction ko? Ano ang magiging katumbas ng aking gagawin sa mga suliranin na hinaharap ko sa ating buhay? Kasi naintindihan ng ama sa experience niya sa sakripisyo niya, na ito ang mga dynamics na mangyayari sa iyo sa
Yes.
buhay mo.
Oo.
So, siya yung magbibigay ng tamang pangaral.
Yes.
Tapos, even sa edukasyon nga para minsan kasi may mga bata, ito ang gusto ko. Paano kung wala yun?
Oo.
Paano kung nakita ng isang ama na, hindi tama yan anak, hindi ganyan siguro dito ka na muna, tingnan mo. Kasi minsan ngayon sa panahon ngayon, nagtatanong tayo sa mga, anak, anong gusto mong makuha? Anong pag-aaralan mo?
Yeah. It's all about what you want, Pero they teach us, our parents teach us, lalo na yung tatay, na minsan meron kang kailangan gawin kahit ayaw mo.
Ayaw mong gawin.
So that you learn that from your dad, di ba? Kasi the
Yeah.
mom is usually ayaw niya Pero yung tatay hindi, kahit ayaw niya kailangan niyang gawin, kailangan niya matutunan.
Pero gusto kong itanong ngayon kay Tito Toby kasi nga meron siyang marami siyang naalagaan ng mga kabataan, no? Ano ba itong, kasi bakit pa naman at a certain age, yung ganyan mga teenage years, bakit some, if not, I don't know, most na nagiging rebelde. And how do you deal yung sabihin na with this rebelliousness of these
Alam mo,
young people?
It begins when a child is young. We should not be thinking that as a father, I'm going to only be paying attention pag the teen years na ng anak.
Oo, pag rebelde na.
Pag rebelde na. Hindi naman rebelde yan
Oo.
Pag yan, tinuruan mo magmahal at maging responsable. Pagdating sa punto nung gumagawa na siya ng kanyang desisyon, kasi you encourage them making decisions.
Yeah.
It's not about them becoming rebellious. It's about them being taught, okay, you have to now make decisions.
Yeah.
Because I have to teach you how to walk
Yeah.
and to walk on your own and not nandiyan ka palagi tinatayo
Kumbaga,
ka.
preparation for
Prep mo yun
adulthood kasi
Oo,
yun.
kaya the parents are the ones doing the solution and not letting their child face
Right.
it himself.
Yeah.
And it's not a time of your life where you're left to do what you want. It's not like that. A family who's raised their children, or children are raised in higher purpose and values. Even they themselves, the child will grow up. Yung minsan yung sinasabi ko kanina, yung may mga bata na, hindi nagko-computer game Bihira mo marinig yun
Galing, no?
Uy, O kaya magulang nyo, paano kayo naiabot na ganyan? 17, 18 years old, hindi kayo nagko-computer games. Either binobola nyo ako, pero hindi, they were very sincere in what they were saying.
It's very nice. It means the parents did their homework.
Oo, so, pag may ganyan, ibig sabihin ng sukatan na, uy, hindi rebellious yung bata.
Oo.
Through his actions. Meron pa nga, hindi ba? Ako, kunyari, I will never send, or many, yung, alam niyo yung mga daughters, I had daughters so I never want them to be exposed to the world of irresponsible individuals around them. Meaning, pag sila ay naging teenager, kaya di ba ngayon, ang dami natin problema sa teenage pregnancy.
Yeah.
You know? Kasi, ano ang pipigil sa anak mo na hindi niya gagawin yung action na yun?
Values pa rin.
Values pa rin.
Character building talaga
Character building ang
work.
role ng ama at ina. Yung building of character. Kasi ako as ama, alam ko yung magiging haharapin ng aking mga daughters. At saka ng anak ko na lalaki. Alam ko haharapin nila. So
Mas
syempre,
mahirap pa nga yata ang haharapin nila kaysa sa dinaanan natin because of
iba na yung
This
society
world,
kasi.
iba na ngayon ang world.
Yung values kasi
Oo,
ngayon,
iba na
nagbago
ngayon.
na. Yung morality,
Hindi
masyado
na kasi
nang...
tinuturo masyado.
Wala nang ano
yun
ngayon Wala nang censure. Di ba nung araw, pag sabi sa, manunod ko sa sine, the board of censors, only this age and that age. Pag nagbukas ka ng computer, bukas ka lang meron ba ng board of censors? Wala namang board of censors
All the
You know.
more the reason why we need our fathers to be strong
Oo.
and teach
And ikaw
us
magpipigil.
properly.
No. You cannot do this.
Or you already capacitate them to make the correct decisions
Exactly.
because you're not gonna always be there.
Because as fathers, it's the ability of you to be able to communicate with your own children reasonably.
Yeah.
So they become reasonable.
At saka straightforward ka.
Right.
Hindi ka nagtatago.
So
Kasi
hindi,
some fathers, hindi nila maharap yung i-explain yung totoo So,
alam niyo
kaya-
may ganun kasi,
Well,
minsan may nangyayari na ganyan kasi minsan may pagkukulang ka asama. So naghahabol ka ngayon. Diba? Bili mo na lang ng something para naman mapacify ko. Para yung trust namin mag-build. No, it's unconditional love. If you make your child feel unconditional love, you let them experience that. And it is the guiding light for them. I'm not going to do this simply because I'm going to stay away from this kind of crowd. I'll be careful with my own life. Matututo na sila. Kung baga tsaka kunyari, may nagawa man sila. Pag kaya may relasyon sa anak niyo at maganda, may trustworthiness kayong relation. Mismo sila magsasabi outright, may nagawa akong ganito.
Kasi kampante sila.
Tatanggapin
Natatanggapin mo pa rin
Tatanggapin mo
sila.
with reason
Yeah.
Kasi kumbaga gagawa mo ng paraan.
Yeah, there was one kid who wanted to commit suicide at the age of 10 years old, no? Because he was disabled. Pero ang naisip niya when he was trying to do that, sabi niya, malulungkot yung magulang niya. And that prevented him,
Yeah.
Masasaktan yung mahal ko na nanay tsaka tatay, and I will not do this anymore.
Kaya sa mga magulang na may mga young teenagers. So, wag tayo maging absentee na ama.
Yeah.
We always have to be there for them. And we also, because we are the ones that provides assurance. During times of instability, like pandemics or kalamidad or whatever difficulty you're faced, kadalasan yung ama gives that assurance to the children. Oh, my dad is here.
Yeah. The quality time and also the quantity time is necessary that we spend with our children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is, and now it's
Kasi
taking
sometimes
place.
people say, quality time. Pero very short naman. But, during that time, kasi you're guiding them nga for their life So, the quantity is also important.
And about being honest and straightforward, binanggit mo. I heard a story from you about this kid who was asking his father about where the children come from.
This was a story of, actually it's a comedian, but a true story. This child, I think she was 5-7 years old. She asked her papa, where do babies come from? Ako, ninervous na si tatay. He didn't know how to explain it. And now the kids used to internet, di ba? So the kid decided, okay, I'll find out. Check siya sa internet. Tapos, nalaman na niya. She went to her uncle and said, my God, oh my God, my father is an idiot. She said, he doesn't even know about sex. She said, maybe I must be adopted. So the uncle was making this kwento na, parents should have the ability to explain things to their children so they don't go around kung saan-saan. Hanap ng information. Mabuti
Oo
na, you
nga.
tell them, in a way that they can understand.
Yeah, they have
Because
to
children
relate
are
to
not
it.
stupid,
That's
They
why,
need
you
to
know,
understand it properly
actually,
from you.
The whole point here is this. That's why nga, that's part of sheltering and nurturing. You know that may ganito. Ito yung madla, ito yung society. So I have to be, as a parent, as a dad, know exactly what my duties are and what to educate my child at a certain point of time.
Yes. Oo.
Hindi ako mag-iintay na
Yes.
find out somewhere else or somebody else.
Yeah,
Baka
mamaya
yung
mali
somebody
pa.
else ngayon, iba yung gusto, iba yung intent. Mas
Mali
lalo
pa yung
ngayon.
ituro.
Alam nyo, minsan, yung internet nga, kaya nakakatakot yan eh. Wala tayong censor dyan eh. Wala tayong protection para sa anak. Pag siya ay naging, kumbaga parang na-addict siya doon,
No.
ang hirap mo siyang ilalabas.
Kasi meron daw chip addiction.
Right.
Doon naghahanap ng
Ngayon,
friendship.
ang problema doon, yung nagiging impersonal siya ngayon. Hindi niya siya marunong kung ano talaga yung basehan ng relasyon. So kaya kapag yan na-nurture sa bahay, at yan pinangalagaan ng husto, alam na niya yung limits niya kagad.
They
Siya
learn
mismo,
to think critically in the sense that, mali yata yun, di ba? Oo.
Meron wisdom rin sila kasi may tamang perspective sila sa buhay. Clear thinking, no?
yes. To all the fathers there, alam nyo, the sacrifice is worth every second
Yeah.
of your time. You know why? As we grow older and weary as our bodies age, the wisdom you have imparted your own children, your sons and your daughters, you will find that if you see that your sacrifice will be worthwhile, and you will find all the other generations to come in your line, and also your neighbors, whoever they may be, because you have provided the right friendship to others. Hindi ba?
Oo.
Ganon yan eh. Hindi ba?
At saka yung iba naman, meron tayong mga nakikinig na kaibigan na minsan wala silang anak o malalaki na yung mga anak nila. Actually, yung fatherhood, pwede pa rin i-play yung
Yeah,
role
be
na
fostering
yun.
ang
Oo.
tawag. Be
Fostering
fostering.
other children.
Kaya nga, the sacrifice, as soon as we reach a certain point in our life, that we cannot function well in the society anymore. But yet you find your children grow up in with high values and wisdom and purpose. They will help you too as you leave. The help is like, wow, I have done my job, my duty as a father. I have raised my children to be God-loving and to be caring for others. See, that is the very basis on the end of the day, yung sukatan natin sa sarili natin as a magulang o as an ama. Are my children also loving God, also serving God? Do they have this appreciation of serving the Father, the Supreme Father? Now, when they are experiencing that in their own hearts, then that is the most important thing that will hold us. Kumbaga, that will be your protection eh. Yung sa mga kung ano man coming your way.
Yeah.
And
That holds you eh. Yung wow, I value this
Keeps
most.
you together,
makes you
as a
happy.
person.
Right.
no?
May peace eh.
Satisfies
Kasi
you.
explaining natin yan eh. Oh, you want to be peaceful in life? You want to have this direction? Okay, this is how it's achieved.
Yeah.
There's no other way. You know?
In
Yeah.
connection to that, I'd like to mention, my father kasi, when he was raising us, because you're talking about peace, yeah. So in the world today, there's so much trouble going on, people fighting with each other. I remember when I was a child, my father would tell us many times that, people don't ever judge anybody by the way they look, by the color of their skin, by the money in their pocket. He always told us we're all the same inside. We're all children of God. So I don't ever want you to say, oh, I don't like that person kasi Hapon yan. Kasi in the Philippines at that time, galit sila sa Hapon kasi we were under the Japanese after the war, gano'n, ano. So he was always, he gave us that value to respect everyone, no matter who they are. And I really thank him for that, you know. I think it's a very important thing to teach our children.
At saka pati rin yung ating tinatawag na father na spiritual teacher, no? When he gives wisdom to us about how to be happy, ganon, it really helps us become, not distracted by the world, and you're able to go through the sufferings with strength, no? So yung natin na matatamo po natin sa mga tatay na talagang nag-i-impart ng wisdom, which is the real treasure, no? Ito yung mga spiritual teachers,
These
father.
are when you talk about wisdom and scriptural guidance, there's no time and place involved here.
Oo.
Yeah.
And no only for that person or this person. It is the time and place, and how let's say your parents take the time, your father takes the time to follow such guidelines in their life. No, meron silang deep principles that will guide them in their existence. In path to their own.
Ng ganitong values sa mga magiging anak ninyo sa pamilya, hindi ba?
Alam nyo, pag mayroong values na impart sa inyo, hindi ka na kailangan maghanap. Masyado.
Hindi ka na maghanap.
Alam mo na yung standards mo eh.
Oo.
May standards.
May standards ka na eh. At saka kapag mayroon meaningful ang buhay mo, nagdadasal ka palagi. Ang guidance mo ay galing sa within, hindi lang sa
Okay. Unfortunately, I think nagkaroon ng problem in terms of the internet, okay, in La Union. So I apologize on behalf of the team. Napakaganda pa naman sana ng usapan, no? Nila Tito Toby, Tita Marisa, and Tita Socorro. Okay, we're gonna try and connect back and finish the discussion.
standards ka na eh. At saka kapag mayroon meaningful ang buhay mo, nagdadasal ka palagi. Ang guidance mo ay galing sa within, hindi lang sa isip mo, kung anong iniikot ka ng isip mo, o yung senses mo, o kung ano yung uso sa labas.
Kung ano yung nasa internet,
Oo.
sa social media,
Yung sa'yo,
gaya ka na lang.
meron kang guiding, yung guiding principle mo kung saan galing sa puso ko. Galing sa Supreme Father na kasama ko palagi. So pag may ganyan ka sa buhay mo, at ikaw ay isang magulang at ama, at tinuro mo sa anak mo yun, yun ang isa sa pinaka-importante na bagay. Hindi mo lang itinuro sa kanya sa pananalita, kung hindi sa paggawa.
Yeah, in your example. I think that's one of the most important things we have to thank our fathers.
We have to live and learn to
That
live
guidance
by
they've
the
given
model
us.
as an example to everyone else, and not be also limiting ourselves to just our family. Also to our neighbors, our friends, to our co-workers, to anybody, any stranger that comes your way. Anybody who has a sense of, the confidence from within, he sees the persons, everybody in the world he sees, are of pare-pareho at patas tayo lahat. Tayo ay anak ng Diyos. Diba?
Yes.
We are children of God. And we would leave this weekend. Let's again be thankful for our fathers and mothers.
Yeah. Thank you for all
And
the
all
hours
of
and
those-
effort, pangaral ng pangaral.
And those who have given us
didn't
guidance
go to waste.
so that we can make a difference in our lives just so that others can live too and in peace.
Yes.
So, bigyan natin ng malaking pasasalamat at pagmamahal ng ating mga ama at ina. Sasama ko ng ina. Baka,
Oo nga, partnership
Yeah.
naman
Partnership
yun.
naman today,
Oo,
so-
partnership.
sige, maraming salamat.
Thank you.
Always
Thank
have,
you.
a very pleasant weekend, a weekend in prayer, and
Yeah.
be together with your family.
See you in our next show.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tito Toby, Tita Socorro, and Tita Marisa. They are right, no? We are all children of the same Father, ang Diyos Ama. And let us, on tomorrow, okay, express our gratitude to Him and to all of those people who play the different roles, okay, that a father plays or does in our lives. Ang mga tatay, like sabi nga ni Tita Socorro, sila ang GPS or ang gumagabay sa buhay. Sila ang tagapagtanggol. They have to be brave and courageous. They are the provider of both material and spiritual needs. They are also a teacher or ang guro. Okay, kalaro ng mga anak, kasama or kaibigan, ang takbuhan or masasandalan, tagalinang ng talento, at syempre ang tagapaglingkod at isang halimbawa or role model. So I would like to end this show by letting everybody know again, we apologize about the technical issues that we face today. Please rest assured though that the full videos of the discussion of Sina Tito Toby will be uploaded so that you can watch it in full without the technical issues in between, because it's a really, really very nice discussion, and like Milay said, a very heartfelt topic. And just want to say hi to the greeters, before we end. Vina Pasqua, who says Happy Father's Day to all, especially to Tito Toby, and also Rose says the same thing. And maraming salamat, from Erwin Carino and from Haribol. So, Happy Father's Day to all the fathers and father figures out there. And until next week, stay safe and stay healthy, mga kagopalakas. Goodbye.
Pangkalusugan, pangkalikasan, go Palakas!